The moment you open your mouth to explain yourself, you have already lost. Picture it. The accusation lands, a subtle jab at a dinner party, a questioning of your competence in a meeting, a lover twisting your words. You feel the heat rise in your chest. The cortisol spikes. Your brain screams that you are being misunderstood, that the truth is being distorted, that you must correct the record immediately. So you speak, you clarify, you justify, you offer context, and in that exact second you have handed them your throat. Because the world does not judge you by the truth of your words, it judges you by the desperation of your delivery. The one who explains is the one who submits. The one who defends is the one who accepts the other person's authority to judge them. Niccolo Machiavelli, the master of power dynamics, understood a brutal truth that modern society has tried to breed out of you. He knew that power is not about being right. It is about who holds the frame. And the moment you defend yourself, you step into their frame. You become the defendant in their courtroom. But what if you didn't? What if when the attack comes, you did the one thing that terrifies a manipulator more than anything else? Most people go through life as emotional puppets. They are pulled by the strings of other people's opinions. Someone frowns, they apologize. Someone accuses, they explain. They live in a constant state of reactive defense, trying to prove they are good, smart, or worthy. It is a miserable way to exist. It is a slow suffocation of the soul. But there is a different way, a way of moving through the world that is so detached, so sovereign, and so psychologically impenetrable that insults do not just bounce off you. They dissolve before they even touch you. This is not about being cold. It is not about being arrogant. It is about a fundamental shift in where you derive your reality. Today we are going to dissect the psychology of the non-defense. We are going to look at why your biology betrays you in these moments and how to override it with a strategy that Machiavelli would have whispered to a prince. I am going to show you how to flip the power dynamic instantly, how to make the attacker doubt their own sanity, how to use silence not as an absence of noise, but as a weapon of mass destruction against someone's ego. But be warned, this requires you to kill a part of yourself that you have been feeding since you were a child, the part of you that begs to be understood, the part of you that needs permission. If you can kill that need, you become dangerous. You become untouchable. Let's begin. So why do you do it? Why, when someone challenges you, is your first instinct to provide evidence of your innocence? It starts in childhood. Think back to when you were 5 years old and a parent or a teacher accused you of something. What was the only way to escape punishment? Explanation. I didn't break it, it fell. I didn't hit him, he hit me first. You learned that authority figures hold the power of judgment, and you learned that your survival depended on convincing that authority figure that you were good. The problem is, you grew up, but your psyche didn't. You are walking around the world projecting that authority figure onto everyone you meet. Your boss, your partner, the stranger on the internet, even your enemies. When you defend yourself against someone, you are subconsciously saying, you are the judge, I am the child. Please accept my plea so I can feel safe again. It reeks of weakness, and human beings, primal as we are, can smell that scent of submission from a mile away. Machiavelli wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved." Now translate that to modern social dynamics. It is much safer to be respected than understood. When you rush to defend, you are prioritizing being understood over being respected. You are saying, please get me, please see my intent. But a king does not explain his decree to the peasant. A lion does not explain its hunt to the gazelle. The moment you start rambling, giving reasons, showing texts, bringing up past events to prove your point, you have signaled that your internal stability depends on their agreement. You have given them the key to your house, and once they have that key, they can trash the place whenever they want. This is the trap of the validating self. You believe that if you just explain it clearly enough, they will say, "Oh, I see now, you are right, I was wrong." How often does that actually happen? Almost never. Because the attack was never about the facts. It was about the power. They didn't accuse you because they wanted the truth. They accused you to see if you would jump. And you jumped. The first step to becoming untouchable is to realize that the courtroom does not exist. There is no judge. There is no jury. There is only you and your perception of reality. When you stop treating other people like judges, their accusations stop sounding like sentences. They start sounding like opinions, and opinions are just noise. So what happens when you don't react? Imagine this. Someone throws a verbal spike at you. You're being incredibly selfish right now. The old you jumps in. "No, I'm not. I did X, Y, and Z for you." Defensive, reactive, weak. Now the Machiavellian response. They say it again. "You're being incredibly selfish right now." You look at them. You hold eye contact. Your face stays neutral. You say nothing. 3 seconds. 4, 5. That silence creates a psychological vacuum. The human brain hates silence during conflict. It signals that the other person is not playing the game. When you stay silent, you force them to sit in the tension they created. Most people crack. I mean, not always selfish, just right now. Now they're explaining themselves. The power has flipped. This is the gray rock method weaponized. You become a void, and a void cannot be attacked. You can't punch mist or stab water. By refusing to defend, their attack passes straight through you and destabilizes them. This takes control because inside your ego is screaming, "Say something, fight back." You must leash that instinct. Machiavelli understood that the most powerful person in the room is the one who cannot be read. When you defend yourself, you reveal your insecurities. "I'm not stupid." Now they know intelligence matters to you. "I'm not a bad person." Now they know morality is your pressure point. Silence reveals nothing. It's a dark mirror. When they look into it, they see only their own aggression reflected back. Sometimes silence isn't enough. Sometimes words are required, but never defensive ones. Instead of pushing back, you pull. This is conversational Aikido. There's a tactic called agree and amplify. Defending an absurd accusation gives it legitimacy. Instead, exaggerate it until it collapses. You're greedy. Defensive, you says, "No, I just want security." Controlled, you says, "You caught me. I swim in gold coins every Tuesday." Flat face, maybe a slight smirk. You refused the insult. You showed no insecurity. You took control of the frame. That's amused mastery. It's the energy of someone who knows they're safe. When you defend yourself, you drop to the floor and fight with the accusation. Don't do that. Stand up, look down, smile. Robert Greene calls this refusing imposed identity. Labels are cages. If you fight the cage, you're still inside it. If you mock it, it dissolves. You're arrogant. I prefer confident. You only care about yourself. I'm working on it. Short, calm, done. If you're defending, it's because some part of you fears they might be right. That's the shadow. Every conflict has a judge and a defendant. The judge asks questions, the defendant answers. Whoever answers loses status. The power move is refusing the role. You're always late. Instead of explaining, ask, "Why does that bother you so much?" Frame flipped. Other people's perceptions of you are not your responsibility. Their anger is theirs. Their disappointment is theirs. Sometimes the strongest move is agreement. You're right, then silence. You take responsibility for actions, not identities. Insecure people fight over mistakes. Secure people say, "My bad," and move on. None of this works if it's fake. Silence only works when it's backed by self-knowledge. If an insult hurts, it's touching a wound that already exists. The ultimate defense is self-acceptance. When you own your shadow, no one can use it against you. You stop being a fortress. You become the wind.